Hello fam, how are you? I hope you're doing well. It's Aunty when you are Baju, and today I want to do something special with you. So have you subscribed? I hope you have, and thank you for those who have. As you're joining us, it's a new thing, and we hope to do many good things. Yeah, so I want to show you. So the other day I went to Walmart, and the things I bought, I was imagining I would pay $50. It was just a few things. Yeah, and I'm telling you, food prices have changed. We've known that for a while, but when you buy just the most basic things, yeah, and you find it's double that, it makes you think. Yeah, so in the spirit of just saving some coins and just stretching some meals, I'll show you just what I'm doing in the season. So I ended up paying $100 for that small shopping. So this is what I got. I used to get this for so much cheaper. Like that box of eggs used to be $4 to $7. But like today I got this romaine heart, some sweet peppers, some broccoli. These are just for salads, and broccoli, I use it mainly for breakfast meals and also just as a veggie meal. I got some spinach, some spring onions, one thing of sliced mushrooms for my recipe. This butter that you see here used to be just $4, $4 to $5. Now it's $7, I think $7.50. And anyway, I got that silk almond, this 2 packets of 2 cup each cheese, 2 cans of tomatoes. These are still fairly priced, I think $1.29. Some sausages for breakfast sandwiches. I got a thing of chicken drumsticks too, because they tend to sell chicken pieces cheaper. This cheese is 2 cups in each, so goes a long way when you're doing like a frittata recipe. So this I bought purposely for that. The sausages for breakfast sandwiches, and this chicken, I want to make a pilau with it. I'll show you just how, and I also will get a lot of stock because I'll boil it and make some stock, and then half of this I'll make pilau, the other half I'll serve it with some salads, or make a stew with it. Ended up being a salad meal. And then this chicken tenders for burger meals. But the thing with this family, we don't do a lot of breakfast meals except on weekends. Yeah, so they go a long way. I got these tiny beans to serve as a meal as an escort for chapatis, and then we will use them also for some breakfast meals. Yeah, so that will be great. And then I bought this 2 packets of parboiled rice just to add on to whatever we have, because the guys love the parboiled rice more. Yeah, so whenever I'm not making like pilau, I use the parboiled. This self-rising is good for when I'm making pancakes. I use it a lot. Pancakes or muffins, just tiny baking in the house. And this all-purpose flour is 5 pounds. That is for chapatis. I will mix that with some whole wheat flour I have. And then these eggs used to be $4 to about $7. Now it is almost $15. So things have really changed, yeah. And then I got like a liter oil for the chapatis. Yeah, and this was the receipt. $101 and $23. So not what I expected, because these are not even the main things that I use. But whenever I go to Walmart, I will just use this grocery and use with whatever I have in the pantry, make more meals than usual. When I'm buying there, it's because there's maybe something I can use to pair together from the pantry or the fridge or the freezer. So yeah, you buy just what you need then, and then so the idea to save comes from what you will do with it. Yeah, so if you just buy and keep in the fridge, you might not realize the much you would get from there. And so one important thing is to make sure you're buying what your family actually eats, actually likes, and make it fresh, make it nice, and whatever you pair it with, make sure it's something they like. Yeah, so on this day I wanted to get some breakfast meals that we actually like and eat throughout the week. And so I did 3 frittatas. This is a recipe that really saves me when it comes to eggs. Yeah, it's very easy for our family in one morning to use up to 15 eggs. Yeah, some eat 4, some eat 5, some eat 3, 2. So when I make a frittata, it's something everybody likes. The slice is enough, and I will only use 3 to 6 eggs, yeah, in one. So overall I use like 15 eggs in these 3 frittatas, just pairing them with vegetables or whatever else you have, even if it is like sausage meat, because here you can buy deconstructed sausage, or just veggies, maybe corn, just things that you don't normally think you can use, because frittata and quiches are really good for added things. Yeah, so you can even just put your leftovers in a frittata and it will be amazing. Yeah, so just changing food from one form to another, that is great. Sometimes when you make like a chapati and beans, you can still repurpose the beans for a breakfast meal. Yeah, and so that serves you to up to 2 or 3 meals. Yeah, so that works for me as far as saving money is concerned, but I also know that it's something you already do. Yeah, but today I'm going to share with you one of the recipes that I like. I had bought this bread to serve with the soup, but I ended up making sandwiches, and for some reason it wasn't eaten much, so I used a bit of it. Yeah, but all of this has been sitting in the fridge. It's not it is stale, but it is not too bad. So what I'm going to do is slice it, and I will make a custard and add into the bread, have it soaking overnight, and then tomorrow I'll just put it in the oven and bake it together. It is going to be delicious. It's going to be different and fresh and hot. Yeah, so that is one of the way I save the meals, and we are going to talk about so many other ways. So I'll show you this one today, and then you'll watch the rest of the videos where I show how I made the other breakfast meals. Yeah, all right, so karibu, let's have a time together. So the method is simple with this one. You just cut the bread in cubes. It's quite dry and crusty. I'm going to add this all to a Pyrex dish. It was actually more than I thought, but that is the basic idea. Add it into a Pyrex dish and then make a custard using eggs, cream, and milk. I thought I would use just a mixture of both to make 1 cup, but I ended up making 2. So 1 cup of cream, 1 cup of milk, just for this amount of bread. If you have just a smaller amount, that is okay. And if you have a bigger one, so you make a bigger custard. And I wanted it to be savory, so I added the amount of bacon I had. I just fried it in the pan to make it crispy, and this is the result. So this we will bake tomorrow once it's nice and soaked, but here are the meals I made with that grocery. 지금에 맞춰진 걸까? 따뜻한 모닝커피의 향기가 오늘 하루도 날 기대하게 만드는 걸 우리. Hey fam, so my bacon was still frozen, and I decided to just boil it a little just to separate it. This is how it was. And I'm cutting like that so I can have small pieces of the bacon, because I'll be using it in pieces in these recipes. It was quite hard, so I did that, and then I boiled it for a while and just set it aside as I made my vegetable frittata which is just spinach, spinach and onions, and then added cherry tomatoes. That makes it very delicious, but you add the cherry tomatoes at the end. So we start by frying the spinach, and the one spice that I like in this is cumin, either whole or powder. And this on this day I just added together with paprika, some salt, just to flavor it, and then the cherry tomatoes at the very end. Then you leave this mixture to cool as you make the custard. And I was trying out this method where I do half and half, milk and cream. I didn't like the rice much and it doesn't become so firm, but it was delicious all the same. The amount of cheese I used was just 1 cup of the mozzarella, and the cheddar I add it just for color on top. It also adds a good flavor. So that while that's cooking, we will use some of this bacon in the next quiche, in the next frittata. You can call it a crustless quiche because that's what it is, but the correct name is also frittata. So these meals go a long way, and they're quite nutritious, quite nice for the people doing keto, especially because the fat does not harm them, yeah? Because they've changed the fuel from glucose to fat. So this works very well. But also, like for young active people, this is a good meal. So don't worry too much about the amount of cream I'm adding. It's very good for keto eaters, and the guys, when they are active, this is a good meal. So fry the broccoli, do not overcook. The onions are so good in this, and you don't let them brown too much, yeah? So add the bacon first just to grease your pan or your pie dish, and then add everything else. Then I will use a cup of this, a cup of the cream and milk combined. So that's actually half and half. In this I use 6 eggs because they could fit in this pie dish. In the first one I used 3 because the pie dish is smaller. Then the usual cheese, and then I add my topper cheese, which is cheddar, or you can use a marble cheese. Do you see the weather that we had on Sunday? It was storming a bit, perfect for these meals, especially if you could get one fresh and nice. Yeah, so the third frittata I'm making is a bit chunky, more protein with the mushrooms and bacon, and it was quite delicious. And although you can make it like this, I still added a handful of spinach, baby spinach, just to make it more nutritious. The mushrooms are really good in a quiche. Tastes quite different from the others because it is like more spices. You add more spices just to counter the earthiness of the mushroom. And to this also I added 6 eggs. I'll be using a different type of pie dish. This one takes a bit more, or it's bigger in volume, so works better. So a handful of that grated mozzarella cheese, and if you do prefer a different kind of cheese, that's okay. I added spring onions. I went all ham on this one because I wanted it to be extra delicious because it was the one we were eating first. So the second quiche is ready, or frittata, and I'm adding the last one, and then we will do some of the meals because on this day I was preparing meals for the week. We don't always do this because some meals they really don't eat. So what they eat is pilau, and I do that. So I was making broth here for beef pilau, and then I was boiling my beans. This we will eat for some breakfast meals, and it's usually very delicious. So beans in the morning, perfect. And then here I was boiling the chicken drumsticks that I showed you. So we get a lot of broth from that. So I have like a jug full of each still. So I boiled all the chicken legs, and I would later deep fry. So that is what I'm starting here. By deep frying, although they're fully cooked. So I want them to firm up so that when I cook them in the rice, they don't fall apart, because chicken can be quite tender, especially the broiler. So I didn't add much of seasoning because I added the salt, and it was quite flavorful, and especially because of the meal I was going to use it into. So here goes the chicken pilau.
Yeah.
Ha, the patience it takes to brown an onion. Am I right? So you need your onion brown because when making pilau, you want the flavors from everything that you're adding into it. So brown your onion, then add the garlic. And then I love using dhania in my pilau and also green pepper, which I didn't have on this day. Then once you add your spices, you want them to cook, so you can add some stock just to push it a little longer. And then I added the rice into that saucy bit of it. So this was very, very flavorful at this point. And I'm using the chicken stock. That is why I boiled it. So to 3 cups of rice that had been soaking for a long time, which means it was already half fluffy. Yeah, so I added 4 cups of stock. And then I added the chicken on top while it's boiling, makes it a bit softer. And I put in this Pyrex dish because one, it was sticking, and because I wanted for it to continue the cooking process. And here is our beef pilau. We start by browning our onions again. You can add a little more oil than you would use in a stew, and then add the garlic. You then want to add your beef and have it cooking in those spices. You want the spices to cook long so that it can develop the aroma and the full-bodied flavor. And then we add the tomatoes. This I add just for flavor to make it feel saucy, but you don't have to in beef pilau. And we'll be using the stock in this, the beef stock. So this was 7 cups of rice because I was doing this as a meal prep. We'll have this sitting in the freezer for quite a while if the boys don't finish it too fast. But I expect it to be there for a while because I made the beans too, and also other meals just for the week so that they don't eat the same thing. So out of this, we got a lot of those meal packs, but it was really delicious.
Do you want to know?
So for this particular morning, I had some eggs boiling there, still using my shopping, and I wanted it to make some egg salad. But we ended up eating them boiled, so that recipe I won't be showing, but I'm showing you here how I did the beans with bacon because I had in mind to use them for breakfast the next morning. I also added the coconut milk. You would think it wouldn't go together, but it does, and amazingly too. So added the beans into that water, and the coconut milk was almost drying up, so I still wanted it to be nice and thick, but I added the bacon back, and then the coconut cream and a little of that coconut water that sits under the cream. Finish off with some spring onions and dhania, then kept it aside. Then now we are mixing the chapati. So to make these particular chapatis, I added 7 cups of white all-purpose flour and 3 whole wheat flour, and then 4 cups of liquid, which was milk and water, just to make it lighter. I added 2 eggs. I added some oil and salt in that, and 2 tablespoons of salt and sugar. Then I usually use this method for my chapatis. Just roll out the whole dough and divide it. Then I will roll about 10 of these chapati balls and then start cooking. That sets me ahead of time, because when you're cooking alone, you want to have some tricks that you will use so that it's more efficient. You don't have to switch off the fire when you're cooking to roll out more. So this is towards the end, and all these meals I made will save me a lot of time and also some coin, because they will go a long way. Thank you so much for watching. Do subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.